What if you could improve your speaking even when you're reading? Most people read silently, but fluent speakers often use reading in a completely different way. And that's exactly what we're going to discover next. So far, you've learned how to listen. You've learned how to echo a speaker. You've learned how to think in English. You've learned how to speak to yourself. Now let's add one more simple habit. It's something many beginners already do, but they miss the most important part. Can you guess what it is? Reading. Reading is wonderful. It helps you meet new words. It helps you understand sentence patterns. But if you only read with your eyes, your speaking improves much more slowly. Why? Because your mouth is staying quiet, and quiet muscles don't become stronger. Don't just read, say it. Think about a musician. Would they become better by only looking at the music sheet? No. They have to play the instrument. Your voice is your instrument. The more you use it, the more comfortable it becomes. That's why I want you to do something different. The next time you read a short story or a simple English lesson, don't whisper. Don't only move your lips. Read clearly enough to hear yourself, not loudly enough to disturb everyone, just clearly enough for your own ears. Because your ears need to hear your voice, not only someone else's. A 2-minute reading routine. Let's make it easy. You don't need a long book. Choose a short paragraph, maybe 5 or 6 lines. Now follow these 4 steps. Step 1. Read slowly. Don't rush. If a sentence feels difficult, that's okay. Keep going. Step 2. Read the same paragraph again. This time, add natural pauses. Don't sound like a robot. Imagine you're telling a friend something interesting. Step 3. Read it one more time. Now add feeling. If the sentence is exciting, sound excited. If it's calm, keep your voice calm. Emotion helps memory. Step 4. Close the book. Can you remember one sentence? Say it in your own voice, even if it isn't exactly the same. The goal isn't perfect memory. The goal is active speaking. Let's practice together. I'll read 3 short sentences. You repeat after me. Ready? The day is just beginning. Again. The day is just beginning. Now. Every small step matters. Again. Every small step matters. Last one. I'm proud that I didn't give up today. Again. I'm proud that I didn't give up today. Excellent. Did you hear your own voice? That's progress. Every time you hear yourself speaking English, your confidence grows a little more. The mistake to avoid. Many learners stop reading the moment they find a difficult word. Then they open a dictionary. Then another dictionary. 5 minutes later, they've forgotten the whole paragraph. Here's a better way. If one word isn't important, keep reading. Try to understand the sentence from the words around it. You don't need to stop every few seconds. Real progress comes from staying connected to the message, not from translating every single word. Let me tell you about Grace. Grace loved reading English stories. Every evening, she read quietly before bed. One day, her teacher gave her a tiny challenge. Read the same page out loud for 1 week. Grace thought, that sounds too easy. But she tried it. On the first day, she spoke very slowly. On the third day, she noticed fewer pauses. By the 7th day, the sentences flowed much more naturally. She hadn't learned hundreds of new words. She had simply become more comfortable using the words she already knew. Sometimes, progress isn't about learning more. It's about using what you already have. Today's challenge. Tonight, choose one short paragraph. Read it out loud 3 times. The first time, focus on the words. The second time, focus on your voice. The third time, focus on the meaning. Then, close the page. And tell yourself one thing you remember. That's enough. No pressure. Just real practice. Before we move to the next part, take a moment and think about everything you've done so far. You listened. You echoed. You created small English thoughts. You spoke to yourself. You read out loud. None of these habits take hours, but together, they create something powerful. A daily English lifestyle. And in the next part, we'll bring everything together by turning your phone, your daily routine, and the apps you already use into personal English coaches without making your day feel busier. Turn your phone into your English coach. Let me ask you one simple question. What's the first thing you touch after you wake up? For many people, it's their phone. And what's one of the last things they use before going to sleep? Their phone again. Now imagine this. What if the same phone that usually distracts you could also help you speak better English? Not by adding more work, but by changing a few small habits. That's today's idea. Don't fight your daily routine. Improve your daily routine. Your phone is already part of your life. Let's be honest. Most of us pick up our phones many times a day. To check the time. To reply to messages. To watch a short video. To look at the weather. To search for something. Since your phone is already with you, why not let it bring a little English into those moments? You don't need another free hour. You already have the tool. You only need a new way to use it. Small changes create big results. Many learners believe they need a big change to see progress. But that's rarely true. Sometimes, one tiny change can quietly influence your whole day. For example, change your phone language to English. At first, it might feel unfamiliar. You may stop for a second before tapping a button. That's okay. Every small word you see becomes another chance to meet English. Not inside a classroom, inside your real life. And that's where learning becomes natural. Don't scroll. Learn. Now let me ask another question. Have you ever opened your phone to check one message? And suddenly, 20 minutes disappeared? It happens to almost everyone. Instead of trying to stop using your phone completely, change the first few minutes. Before you scroll, watch one short English clip. Just one, not 10. Listen carefully. Then repeat one sentence. That's all. Now enjoy the rest of your day. One small habit. A completely different result. A morning micro routine. Let's build a routine together. Tomorrow morning, try this. Minute 1. Unlock your phone. Play one short English video. Just listen. Minute 2. Replay your favorite sentence. Repeat it twice. Not perfectly. Just naturally. Minute 3. Put your phone away. Say that sentence one more time from memory. Done. 3 minutes. Before breakfast. Before work. Before school. Your English has already started the day. Let me tell you about Olivia. Every morning, she spent 15 minutes scrolling through random videos. When she looked back, she couldn't remember most of them. One day, she made a simple promise. Before I watch anything else, I'll spend 3 minutes with English. That was it. No difficult plan. No long timetable. 3 minutes. After a month, she noticed something surprising. English words started appearing in her mind during the day. Not because she studied harder, but because she gave her brain a better start every morning. Let's practice together. Imagine you're about to leave home. Repeat after me. I'll check the weather first. Again. I'll check the weather first. Now. I don't want to be late. Again. I don't want to be late. Last one. Everything is ready. Again. Everything is ready. Excellent. Those are the kinds of sentences that quietly become part of your everyday English. A small question before we continue. Changing your phone is a great first step. But what happens after that? How do you keep improving without getting bored or forgetting to practice after a few days? That's exactly what we'll explore next. Because staying consistent is much more important than feeling motivated. Make English a habit, not a task. Let me ask you something. Have you ever started learning English with lots of excitement, only to stop a week later? Maybe you bought a new app. Maybe you bought a notebook. Maybe you made a beautiful study plan. For a few days, everything felt exciting. Then life became busy. The notebook stayed on the table. The app stayed unopened. And slowly, the habit disappeared. Why does this happen? Because many people depend on motivation. But motivation changes. Some days you feel excited. Some days you don't. That's completely normal. So here's a better plan. Build habits that work, even on ordinary days. Make English too easy to skip. Imagine this. You want to drink more water. If the bottle is already on your desk, you're more likely to drink it. If it's hidden in another room, you'll probably forget. English works the same way. Make it easy to find. Make it easy to start. If one English podcast is ready on your phone, you don't have to search every day. If one simple story is already saved, you don't waste time deciding what to read. The easier it is to begin, the more often you'll actually do it. The before rule. Here's one of my favorite habits. Don't say, I'll practice English at some time today. Instead, connect English to something you already do. For example, before you eat breakfast, listen to 1 minute of English. Before you sleep, say 3 English sentences. Before you open social media, repeat 1 sentence from yesterday. You don't need to remember a new schedule. You simply attach English to a habit you already have. That's much easier. The 5-day challenge. Let's try something together. Not for 1 month. Not for 1 year. Just 5 days. For the next 5 days, do these 3 things. Listen for 10 minutes. Repeat 3 sentences. Speak for 1 minute about your day. That's all. No extra homework. No pressure. Just 5 days. Then ask yourself, do I feel a little more comfortable than before? Most people are surprised by the answer, because progress often feels small until you compare yourself with last week. A story about consistency. Meet Lucas. Lucas wasn't the fastest learner. He wasn't the best in his class. But he had one habit. He never tried to do everything. He only promised himself, I won't skip today's small practice. Some days, he practiced for 15 minutes. Other days, Only 5. Once, he had time for just 1 minute, but he still showed up. Months later, his teacher asked, "What course are you using?" Lucas smiled. "No special course," he said. "I just stopped waiting for perfect days." That was his real secret. Let's practice together. Repeat after me. I don't need a perfect plan. Again. I don't need a perfect plan. Now, I only need today's small step. Again. I only need today's small step. Last one. I'll keep showing up. Again. I'll keep showing up. Excellent. Those words are more than practice. They're a reminder. Real progress belongs to people who return. Again and again. One small mission. Tomorrow, don't try to do everything we've learned. Choose only one habit. Maybe listening. Maybe speaking. Maybe reading aloud. Maybe thinking in English. Do it well. That's enough. Remember, small habits that last are stronger than big plans that disappear. Before we move on, we've talked about listening, speaking, thinking, reading, using your phone, building habits. But there is still one important piece missing. What if you don't have anyone to tell you whether you're improving? How can you hear your own progress? Without waiting for a teacher? That simple habit has changed thousands of learners. And it only takes 1 minute a day. Listen to yourself. Grow by yourself. We've spent a lot of time listening to other people. Now it's time to listen to someone else. At first, that idea might feel uncomfortable. Most people don't enjoy hearing their own voice. Maybe you've recorded yourself before, played it back, and immediately stopped it. You smiled. Maybe you even felt a little embarrassed. That's completely normal. But here's something interesting. The voice that feels strange today will sound more natural the more you practice. And that's why this habit is so powerful. Your voice is your best teacher. Think about a football player. After a match, they often watch the game again. Not because they enjoy every mistake, because they want to improve. You can do the same with your English. When you listen to yourself, you begin to notice things you never hear while speaking. Maybe you speak too fast. Maybe you pause too often. Maybe one word is difficult. That's not bad news. That's useful information. You don't need to feel disappointed. You simply found your next step. The 1-minute voice routine. Let's keep it simple. Every day. Record yourself for 1 minute. No audience. No pressure. Just you and your phone. Talk about something real. For example, What made you smile today? What are you planning tomorrow? What did you eat for lunch? What was the most interesting part of your day? Don't read from a paper. Just speak naturally. If you stop, start again. If you forget a word, use an easier one. Keep talking. Don't judge yourself too quickly. Here's the biggest mistake. People make one recording. They hear a few mistakes. Then they think, I'm terrible at English. No. One recording doesn't tell your whole story. Instead, ask yourself different questions. Did I speak a little longer than last week? Did I stop less often? Did I feel a little more relaxed? Those are the questions that matter. You're not competing with fluent speakers. You're comparing today's you with yesterday's you, and that's where real confidence grows. Let's practice together. Imagine you're sending a short voice message to a friend. Repeat after me. Hi, I hope you're having a great day. Again. Hi, I hope you're having a great day. Now, I wanted to tell you something. Again. I wanted to tell you something. Last one. I'll talk to you again soon. Again. I'll talk to you again soon. Excellent. Notice how natural those sentences feel. They're useful. They're friendly. And you can use them in real life. A story about hidden progress. Let me tell you about Hannah. On the first day of every month, she recorded herself for 1 minute. She never listened to yesterday's recording. Instead, she compared this month with the previous month. The first recording was full of long pauses. She often said, She searched for words. She stopped many times. 3 months later, she listened again. She couldn't believe the difference. She still made mistakes, but she sounded calmer. Her ideas flowed more easily. The change was slow, so she never noticed it day by day. But month by month, it was impossible to miss. That's the power of small daily habits. Your mission this week, for the next 7 days, record 1 minute every day. Don't delete the recordings. Keep them. At the end of the week, listen to the first one, and then the last one. Don't search for perfection. Search for progress. Even one small improvement is worth celebrating, because every confident speaker was once a beginner who decided not to quit. A big moment before we continue. Take a second and think about everything you've built so far. You learned to listen without fear. You learned to echo naturally. You learned to think in English. You learned to speak during ordinary moments. You trained your voice by reading aloud. You turned your phone into a learning tool. You built small habits. And now, you've learned how to become your own coach. You're no longer waiting for the perfect class, or the perfect teacher, or the perfect time. You're creating progress with the life you already have. But we're not finished yet. In the next part, we're going to bring all these habits together into one simple daily system that feels easy to follow, even on your busiest days. That's where everything starts connecting. Your 15-minute daily English system. Take a moment and think about everything we've learned so far. Listening. Echo practice. Thinking in English. Speaking to yourself. Reading aloud. Voice recordings. They're all useful. But here's a question. What if you wake up tomorrow and wonder, where should I start? Should I listen first? Should I read? Should I practice speaking? When there are too many choices, many people do nothing. That's why today, we're going to build one simple system. Not a difficult timetable. Not a long study plan. Just one routine you can remember easily. Don't ask, what should I do today? Imagine brushing your teeth every morning. You don't stand in front of the sink thinking, should I brush today or not? You just do it. It's a habit. English can become like that. When your routine is simple, your brain stops making excuses. Instead of asking, what should I practice today? You'll already know the answer. And that saves both time and energy. The 15-minute English flow. Let's build it together. You don't need an empty afternoon. Just 15 minutes. Minutes 1 to 5. Fill your ears. Start by listening. Choose a short podcast, a beginner story, or a simple conversation. Don't pause every few seconds. Just listen. Relax. Let English enter your mind naturally. Remember, your goal isn't to understand every word. Your goal is to stay connected to the sound. Minutes 6 to 10. Wake up your voice. Now choose 2 or 3 short sentences. Repeat them. Copy the speaker's rhythm. Don't rush. Don't worry about your accent. Just let your mouth move. Every repetition makes speaking feel a little more natural. Minutes 11 to 15. Create your own English. Now it's your turn. Close the video. Put the phone down. Speak for 1 minute. Talk about your morning. Your plans. Something you noticed today. Or simply describe what's around you. Don't stop because of small mistakes. Keep your ideas moving. That's how confidence grows. Why this routine works. Have you noticed something? First, you listen. Then, you copy. Finally, you create. That's the natural order. Think of learning to cook. First, you watch someone. Then, you follow the recipe. Finally, you cook on your own. Speaking English works in a very similar way. If you skip the first two steps, the last step feels much harder. Let's practice together. Ready? Repeat after me. I'll keep my practice simple. Again. I'll keep my practice simple. Now, small habits make a big difference. Again. Small habits make a big difference. Last one. I'll come back tomorrow. Again. I'll come back tomorrow. Excellent. That last sentence is one of the most important promises you can make. Not because tomorrow has to be perfect, but because consistency always beats intensity. A story about two learners. Let me tell you about Ben and Chloe. Both wanted to become better at English. Ben loved making big plans. On Monday, he studied for 3 hours. On Tuesday, he was too tired. Wednesday, he skipped. Thursday, he felt guilty. By the weekend, he had stopped completely. Chloe did something different. Every evening, she followed the same 15-minute routine. Some days she felt energetic. Some days she didn't. But she still completed her 15 minutes. 3 months later, Ben was still searching for the perfect plan. Chloe was simply speaking more comfortably. Not because she was more talented, because she trusted small daily actions. A question before we move on. Now ask yourself honestly, which learner do you want to become? The one who waits for perfect days, or the one who keeps moving, even on busy days? Think about it. Because your answer doesn't change tomorrow. It changes what you choose to do today. Coming up next, our daily system is ready. But there's still one problem many learners face. They understand English when they're alone. Yet they freeze the moment another person starts talking. Why does that happen? And how can you stay calm during a real conversation? That's exactly what we'll discover next. Stay calm when it's finally time to speak. Imagine this. You've been practicing for weeks. You're listening every day. You're speaking to yourself. You're reading aloud. You're feeling better. Then one day, someone suddenly asks, "How's your day going?" And just like that, your mind goes quiet. The words you knew 5 minutes ago seem to disappear. Has that ever happened to you? If it has, don't worry. It doesn't mean your English is bad. It simply means your brain felt surprised. And surprise often creates pressure. The good news is, you can train your brain to stay calm. Don't rush to answer. Many beginners think they must answer immediately, so they panic. Then they try to build a perfect sentence. That only creates more stress. Here's a better habit. Take one small breath. Smile if you can. Then begin with one simple sentence. You don't need the perfect answer. You only need a clear beginning. For example, if someone asks, "What did you do this weekend?" You don't need a long story. Start with, "I stayed home most of the time." Pause. Now your brain has time to find the next idea. Maybe, "I watched a movie. Then, it was really interesting." One idea, then another. That's how real conversations grow. The power of simple starters. Sometimes the hardest part is saying the first few words. So let's make that part easy. Keep a few simple starters ready in your mind. For example, "I think," "for me," "in my opinion," "from my experience." That's a good question. These short phrases give your brain a few extra seconds. And those few seconds often make speaking feel much easier. The 30-second conversation game. Here's a fun challenge. Every day, choose one easy topic. Maybe your favorite drink, your morning routine, a place you enjoy visiting. Now set a timer for 30 seconds. Speak until the timer ends. Don't stop because you made one mistake. Don't restart. Just keep talking. Tomorrow, choose a different topic. After a week, you'll notice something. Starting conversations feels much less scary. Not because every sentence is perfect, but because your brain has learned to keep moving. Let's practice together. I'll ask a question. You answer after me. Ready? How are you today? Answer. I'm doing well. It's been a busy day. Again. I'm doing well. It's been a busy day. Now another question. What are your plans for this evening? Answer. I'll finish a few things and then relax. Again. I'll finish a few things and then relax. Excellent. See? Real conversations often begin with simple answers, not complicated ones. A story about confidence. Robert loved studying English. He knew lots of vocabulary. He understood podcasts. But when people spoke to him, he froze. One day, his friend gave him one piece of advice. Don't try to impress people. Just answer the question simply. Robert tried it. Instead of searching for fancy words, he used easy English. Something surprising happened. People understood him more easily. The conversations became longer. And little by little, his confidence grew. He discovered an important truth. Confidence doesn't come from difficult words. It comes from sharing your ideas clearly. Remember this. When someone speaks to you, You don't have to sound like a native speaker. You don't have to know every word. You don't have to answer perfectly. You only have to keep the conversation alive. One sentence, then one more. Just like you've been practicing. We've learned how to stay calm. We've learned how to begin speaking. But what happens after the first week? Or the first month? How do you keep improving without losing interest? That's where one final mindset shift changes everything. And it's probably much simpler than you expect. Learner who never stops growing. We're getting close to the end of today's journey. And before we move on, I want to ask you one final question. What do you think fluent English speakers do differently? Do they learn faster? Sometimes. Do they have better memories? Maybe. But after meeting many successful learners, I've noticed something much more important. They don't always have more talent. They simply don't stop. Some days are great. Some days feel difficult. But they keep coming back. Again. And again. That's the real difference. Don't chase perfection. Imagine planting a small tree. Would you dig it up every morning? Just to see if it has grown? Of course not. You water it. You protect it. Then you give it time. Learning English is exactly the same. Many learners expect huge results after only 1 week. When they don't see them, they become disappointed. Then they quit. But real progress is often quiet. You may not notice it today or tomorrow, but one day, someone asks you a question, and you answer without translating. You understand a video that once felt impossible. You read a sentence without reaching for a dictionary. That's when you realize your daily habits were working all along. Keep a win list. Here's something I'd love you to try. Most people remember their mistakes. Very few remember their victories. So starting today, keep a small win list. Not a grammar notebook. Not a vocabulary notebook. A notebook of progress. Write one small success every evening. For example, today I understood a new phrase. Today I spoke for 1 minute without stopping. Today I finished my listening practice. Today I wasn't afraid to repeat out loud. Those little wins matter because they remind you that you're moving forward, even when progress feels slow. The 1% rule. Don't try to become twice as good tomorrow. Just become 1% better. Maybe today you listen for 10 minutes. Tomorrow, listen for 10 minutes again. Maybe today you spoke for 1 minute. Next week, try 1 minute and 30 seconds. Tiny improvements. Repeat it often. Create big changes. That's how confidence grows. That's how fluency grows. Quietly. Patiently. one day at a time. Let's practice one last time. Repeat after me. I don't have to rush. Again. I don't have to rush. Now. I'll trust the process. Again. I'll trust the process. Last one. Every small step makes me stronger. Again. Every small step makes me stronger. Beautiful. Those aren't just English sentences. They're reminders for your journey. A final story. A few years ago, two friends decided to improve their English together. The first friend always searched for shortcuts. He kept changing books, changing apps, changing methods. Every month, he started again. The second friend chose one simple routine. Listen. Repeat. Think. Speak. Read aloud. Record. 15 minutes every day. Nothing fancy. Just consistency. 6 months later, the difference was easy to see. The first friend had collected many resources. The second friend had built a real habit. And habits always travel farther than excitement. Your next 7 days. So here's my challenge for you. For the next 7 days, don't try to remember this entire episode. Just remember these 5 actions. Listen every day. Echo what you hear. Think in simple English. Read out loud. Speak for 1 minute. That's enough. If you do those 5 things again and again, your English won't just improve. It will slowly become part of your daily life. Before our final chapter, we've built the habits. We've built the mindset. We've built the routine. Now there's only one thing left. A simple recap. A final transformation story. And one message I hope you'll remember long after this video ends. Let's bring everything together. The day everything started to feel different. Take a slow breath and think back to the beginning of this episode. At first, English may have felt like a big mountain. Too many grammar rules. Too many new words. Too many things to remember. Maybe you even believed, I don't have enough time. Or, I'm too old to improve. Or, my English will never sound natural. But look at where you are now. You didn't discover one magical shortcut. You discovered something much stronger. A better way to learn. Not by studying harder, by living smarter. Let's put all the pieces together. Imagine tomorrow from the moment you wake up. Your alarm rings. Instead of scrolling immediately, you listen to 1 minute of English. While making breakfast, you think, today is going to be a good day. On your way to work or school, you echo 2 or 3 sentences from a short video. During a small break, you quietly describe what's happening around you. In the evening, you read one short paragraph out loud. Before going to bed, you record 1 minute about your day. Did you notice something? Nothing in that routine is difficult. Nothing takes hours. Nothing feels impossible. But together, those tiny moments become a complete English lifestyle. That's the real transformation. A story that could be your story. Let's go back to Emma. Remember her? At the beginning, she believed she needed long study sessions. She waited for weekends. She waited for holidays. She waited until she had enough time. That day never came. Then she changed one simple belief. Instead of asking, "When can I study English?" she started asking, "Where can English fit into today?" That one question changed everything. English was no longer a separate subject. It became part of breakfast, part of walking, part of waiting, part of relaxing, part of everyday life. Months later, people noticed something. Emma didn't suddenly speak perfect English. She simply spoke more naturally, more calmly, more confidently, because she had practiced in hundreds of tiny moments, not in a few giant study sessions. One final mini challenge. Before this episode ends, I'd like you to make one small promise. Not to me, to yourself. Repeat after me. I will not wait for the perfect time. Again, I will not wait for the perfect time. Now, I'll use the time I already have. Again, I'll use the time I already have. Last one. Today is enough to begin. Again, today is enough to begin. Excellent. If you truly believe those 3 sentences, your learning journey will already feel different. Remember these 5 keys. Whenever you feel confused, come back to these 5 simple ideas. Listen every day. Echo real English. Think in short English thoughts. Read with your voice, not only your eyes. Use English during ordinary moments. That's your roadmap. Simple, clear, practical. One last question. Imagine yourself 6 months from today. You hear an English conversation. Instead of feeling nervous, you understand much more. Someone asks you a simple question. Instead of freezing, you answer with a smile. How will that feel? That future doesn't begin 6 months from now. It begins with the next few minutes. After this episode ends. Because confidence isn't built by watching videos alone. It's built by using what you've learned. Coming up next, in our final part, we'll wrap everything up with one powerful message. one last motivation boost, and a simple action that can keep your English improving long after today's video is over. Your English journey starts today. We've reached the end of today's episode. But hopefully, this isn't the end of your journey. Maybe it's the beginning. A different beginning. Not one filled with pressure, but one filled with small daily actions. Today we didn't chase complicated grammar. We didn't memorize hundreds of difficult words. We didn't promise that you'll become fluent overnight. Instead, we built something much stronger. A system you can actually follow. Even on busy days. Even when you're tired. Even when life gets in the way. Because real learning isn't about having a perfect schedule. It's about refusing to stop. Let's remember what we built today. Today you learned that English doesn't need to stay inside a classroom. It can travel with you. While you're making breakfast. While you're walking. While you're waiting. While you're relaxing. While you're getting ready for bed. You discovered that every ordinary moment can become an English moment. And that's a powerful idea. Because your day is already full of opportunities. You just need to notice them. The 5 habits that can change everything. Whenever you don't know what to do, come back to these 5 habits. First, fill your ears with English every day. Don't worry about understanding every word. Stay connected to the sound. Second, echo what you hear. Don't only listen. Repeat. Copy the rhythm. Copy the feeling. Let your mouth learn naturally. Third, narrate your day. Turn simple moments into simple English thoughts. Your brain will slowly stop depending on translation. Fourth, bring words to life. Read aloud. Let your ears hear your own English voice. Confidence grows every time you use it. Fifth, make English part of your lifestyle. Use your phone wisely. Record your voice. Keep a small win list. Practice during tiny moments. Small habits. Big results. One final story. Imagine 2 people starting today. The first person says, "I'll begin when I have more free time." The second person says, "I'll begin with 5 minutes." 6 months pass. The first person is still waiting. The second person isn't perfect, but they're speaking, listening, understanding, growing. What made the difference? Not talent. Not expensive courses. Not luck. One simple decision. To begin. Your last challenge. Before you leave, I have one final challenge. Not for next month. Not for next year. For today. As soon as this episode ends. Choose one habit. Only one. Listen for 10 minutes. Echo 3 sentences. Read one paragraph aloud. Think in English for 2 minutes. Or record your voice for 1 minute. Don't try to do everything. Do one thing. And do it today. Because today's small action is more valuable than tomorrow's perfect plan. One last message from me. If your English feels slow, don't give up. If you make mistakes, keep talking. If you forget words, keep trying. Every fluent speaker you've ever admired once paused, once forgot words, once felt nervous. The difference is they didn't let those moments stop them. And neither should you. Believe in small progress. Trust your daily habits. Celebrate every little win. One sentence today becomes a conversation tomorrow. One conversation becomes confidence. And confidence opens doors you never imagined. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I truly hope this episode made English feel simpler, lighter, and more enjoyable. If it helped you, come back tomorrow. We'll take one more small step together. Because here on Learn English Unleashed, we don't chase perfection. We build confidence, one simple day at a time. Take care. Keep listening. Keep speaking. Keep believing in yourself. And I'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.